Hi Black Exoticals, welcome back to my channel. So there is this belief in the Black community that if a non-Black man shows any type of interest in a Black woman, Black Exotical, what have you, that he has a fetish, that he's only attracted to that Black Exotical because of sexual prowess and not because he actually finds her beautiful. And I like to debunk this talking point for a few reasons, but mainly because when people, and I've heard black women express these sentiments as well, that if a non-Black man is attracted to a Black woman, it's because he fetishizes her. But that is extremely harmful because you are pretty much insinuating that a Black woman, Black Exotical, I'm using these terms interchangeably for this video, is not attractive. Like you within yourself do not believe that a Black woman's phenotype is attractive. And so that if another race of man shows interest, it's because he simply has a fetish and not that he actually finds you attractive and desirable. Because if you didn't think this way, you wouldn't have a hard time in believing that it's possible for men of one race to be attracted to women of other races, the way that it's quite common um, amongst other races. So, for example, white men finding Asian women attractive. And I know that some people do hold the same sentiments for um, white male attraction to Asian women, but for the most part, people generally have an easier time accepting that Asian women and other women can be desired by multiple groups of men. But when it comes to darker skinned women, Black women, people think like, oh no, 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 he just wants her because of the shape of her body. It's almost as if you're saying that you're not actually attractive, just so that you know, just so that you don't forget, the world doesn't find you attractive. And if a man shows you any kind of interest, it's because he just wants you for the physical. And if you're a Black Exotical listening, please don't internalize these talking points because these talking points are 100% false. This talking point only exists to keep you stuck, if you will, and to keep your options limited so that you'll be afraid to explore your options and find love with other races of men if that's what you truly desire. Again, this belief insinuates that a Black woman or exotical can only truly be desired by a Black man, and that if a non-Black man shows any interest in a Black woman, it's solely for sex. This also insinuates that Black women could not possibly be desired by non-Black men because we aren't worthy of being pursued like other non-exoticals are pursued by all races of men. And this belief generally holds a low opinion of Black exoticals and just Black women in general. And then we then expect subconsciously others to feel the same way, which is why you'll hear people go hard in the comments whenever they see an interracial relationship, a Black woman with a non-Black man. Oh, you're just being fetishized. Or, oh, just make sure that, your life is not in danger because these men are known to be dangerous, when the data shows a different story that we don't talk about. Or similarly, it's this fear-mongering mentality to keep Black exoticals limited in their options, or to just generally feel undesirable. You may think like, oh, I've always been interested in pursue my options, but I don't know if that group would be interested in me because they have this fetish. But I wonder if this talking point didn't exist, if Black exoticals would think differently about their options in the dating market. I wonder if they would be more confident and open to considering other races of men when they showed interest if this talking point doesn't exist. And I mention this because a lot of Black women are still heavily influenced by the Black community's opinion. They allow the Black community's opinion to choose their romantic partners, even if their romantic partners are not the best options for them. They allow the Black community's opinions to dictate where they go to school, the type of profession that they have, the type of city, whether or not they want to travel, so on and so forth. And so again, if you are a Black exotical listening to this, please unlearn this thinking because you are limiting your options. Yes, there are people who will just want to try to have fun or just try out the darker skinned girl, but that exists for all races of women. It is not something that is unique and exclusive to Black exoticals. That's just how some men are. Likewise, it is possible for you to be desired by other races of men, just like how other women are desired by other races of men. Okay, men are not a monolith. Men have different likes, and it's possible for you to be one of those likes. I also find that a lot of Black women push this belief for themselves and Black exoticals because many Black women don't want to see others doing what they're too afraid to do or to admit. Like, they're too afraid to admit that, yeah, it's actually not a fetish. Like, that guy actually did show interest in me. Or they themselves are too afraid to even expand their options because, again, they're afraid of what the community is going to think. They're afraid of the potential backlash. They're afraid of the dirty looks. So they kind of just stay stuck and they just settle for having any type of guy when they could have potentially had a better experience with someone else if they just kept an open mind. Furthermore, being a fetish or simply being desired is not necessarily a bad thing, and you should honestly use this to your advantage. Now, Asian women and Latinas are the queens of doing this. They will only go to places where they know that their phenotype is desired and celebrated in exchange for benefits like modeling gigs or simply getting into high-end clubs for free or simply just getting exposure on social media. Think of a geisha. Geishas play a huge role in Japanese culture. This practice dates back decades and possibly even centuries. But the whole idea of a geisha is to be sort of this unattainable beauty and of servitude, femininity, and just mystery. And not everyone agrees with the geisha practice, even using desirability to their advantage, but that's beside the point. As I've said in other videos, you should use whatever tool or resource that you have, if you will, to your advantage so that you can keep social climbing. And if that's too dark for you, then, just simply bypass the video. So if you are a Black exotical and you know that your phenotype or your look is highly desired, play up on that. Okay, and if you think that Black exoticals aren't desired anywhere, you are 100% wrong. But the women who get this concept and understand the art of being private will get it and will just move in silence and go to the places where they know that they are celebrated. They just move in silence because they understand that what is understood essentially does not need to be said. And they just simply go to the places where they are celebrated because their objective is to gain benefits, from being placed in the right circles and not to gain the approval or applause or support from the Black community. They also know that keeping quiet, especially if you're gonna use your desirability to your advantage, they know that keeping quiet will cause pushback. And I know there's gonna be lots of people who are gonna have something to say in the comments. So the best practice is to just keep your mouth quiet and just do what works for you. You honestly don't need the noise of people's opinions trying to cloud your judgment or trying to deter you from achieving your goal. You have to face enough challenges as it is as an exotical and just as a human being in general. And so the last thing you need is just unnecessary drama, if you will, and unsolicited advice, quite frankly, from people who haven't even mastered the basics of how to navigate life and social climbing. So it's in your best interest to be stealth and to keep things to yourself and just move in silence. So even though a lot of Black exoticals have not mastered the art of being a fetish to their advantage, there still are quite a few Black exoticals who follow their Asian and Latina counterparts, and they're doing this to get ahead. All you have to do is look at women, Black exoticals on social media, and you'll see certain behaviors and patterns, like they only frequent certain spaces with certain groups of people, especially men, if their objective is to find a suitor who especially like their aesthetic. If your objective is to get, for example, scouted by a modeling agency, it would make sense to spend most of your time in spaces where modeling agents frequent because you increase your chances of being scouted. Same thing is true for if you're trying to find a suitor. It makes sense to go to places where suitable suitors frequent so that you will increase your chances of finding a good suitor that meets your needs but is also attracted to you. Like, there's no point in settling for someone who is not really attracted to you and who will not treat you well or even provide you with a good quality of life just because you guys share a phenotype. So do what these ladies do, and as I said before, exclusively go to places where you're celebrated and where your look will be desired, or where women who look and think like you have also gone and found success. And this may take a little bit of research and digging, but the objective is to play the long game and to not play checkers, essentially. But you could try places like certain vacation destinations, popular restaurants, certain types of restaurants, and I mean like higher end restaurants, not necessarily chain restaurants. Try members only lounges, etc. These are the types of places where Black Exoticals do well, and you will see that a certain type of Black Exotical, even Black women, only frequent these places for the reasons that I mentioned. And using your desirability to your advantage is especially beneficial for Black Exoticals because not many women have our phenotype. So you have that sort of unique, mysterious factor going for you. So once you enter these spaces where you know that your look is desired, play up on it. Wear your hair in its natural state if you can, or simply just wear your hair where you know that you look your best. And oftentimes for Black Exotical, that's wearing your textured hair, whether that's doing a wash and go, whether that's doing a curly updo. These are styles not only do they look better in general on Black Exoticals, these are styles that just the majority of women, regardless of race, cannot achieve because they don't have our hair texture. Our hair texture is unique, and so use that to your advantage. You also want to show a tasteful amount of skin. So don't be afraid to wear like strapless dresses, sleeveless dresses, dresses that show off your décolletage, but do it in a tasteful amount where it doesn't look trashy. So for example, if you're going to be showing off skin at the top, try and cover up at the bottom and vice versa so that you look more polished and put together. You can also do things that enhance your glow so that your melanin pops. So wearing highlighter on your collarbone, wearing highlighter on your cheekbones, using like glowy lotions to kind of just make your skin glisten. This will really, really enhance your look, make your skin look polished, and really make that melanin that most women don't have really stand out. And overall, you just want to keep it classy. While you want to be sexy and intriguing, you don't want to be trashy, as I said, because you don't want to conform to stereotypes about Black women being hypersexual and only being desired by some groups of men for sexual desires. So yeah, are you a Black Exotical who's ever heard of this talking point? Have you ever had to try to grapple with kind of being humbled into believing that, you shouldn't open up your options because you're simply just going to be some sort of sexual fetish or tool? Let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.